are you?
Great. How are you?
Welcome to the Don't Be Mediocre podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I used to butcher that. I couldn't say mediocre. I'd be like, don't talk so late. But I've gotten better. I've learned to get my radio voice when I say it. I can control it. So, yeah. So, welcome to the podcast.
Well, that's good.
And so you're a hunter, which is very cool, and you're female, which is very cool. And for me, it's not odd. I just grew up. I had 5 sisters. Not a single one hunted.
Mm-hmm.
None of my friends' sisters hunted. And now, since Instagram, I just am. There's women hunters everywhere, and it's awesome. And then you and your husband, it's like a team duel, right? And then your kids are all involved.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
So was this before? Was hunting before him, or how'd that come about?
You know, I honestly didn't hunt until I met him. My dad did, not frequently, just periodically, just enough to fill the freezer. And it was just me, him, and my brother, so it didn't take a lot. So he would hunt deer, but nothing. I never really went with him. I was more concerned about school and teenage girl stuff. So it wasn't something that I was interested in until I met Casey. So, but it as soon as he took me hunting, it opened a whole new world for me that I didn't realize that I hadn't any interest in. So,
what was your first hunt with him?
With him, it was a turkey hunt. We actually went. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Oh cool.
Yep. We took the kids. It was before we were even married. It was I guess you would call it a pre-family event. So we took them down there to some private land, and it was interesting. I mean, I didn't pull the trigger or anything. I was just there watching it all happen. But it sparked something in me that I just took hold of and ran with.
Had you ever experienced wild turkeys before that? In that where you heard them gobbling, and all of a sudden you see the pictures, but then there's a tom like strutting right in front of you.
Never. Not at least not that close. I grew up in Kansas, so I've seen turkeys and I've been around them, and nothing to that nature.
So you're both, because you guys live in Colorado now, correct?
Yeah. He's actually from Colorado. I'm not. I moved out here in 2012, I believe.
Where do you guys live in Colorado?
The Springs, Colorado Springs.
Okay, I have a good friend.
Yeah.
I went to CU. I graduated from University of Colorado, so.
Oh, did you?
I miss it a lot, and every time I go back, it just seems to get more and more crowded, and it's I-25 at my buddy Nick from Colorado Springs had a app release, but it was in Denver, and it wasn't until like 7:00 at night, and it was bumper to bumper traffic on I-25 going south, and it wasn't moving, and it was like, I never remember this to be so kind of.
It's a disaster. Yeah. It's getting busier and busier.
That's why I'm not moving to Colorado, and I'm moving farther north. So yeah,
don't blame you.
But I still have a lot of friends. I really love going back. I have friends that live in Lyons. I've known her since college. I stay with them and stuff. So, anyways, so you guys, I'm guessing, so you guys hunt both states then, right?
Yeah. We just buy out of state tags when we go back home. So
do you hunt property that you always hunted when you were in Kansas, or no?
No. We have some friends down there, some friends and family that we hunt. At least deer we hunt private. For turkey, we don't. We normally go public for turkey. It's rare when we go private for turkey.
And you're involved with everything, right? You're from the hunt to processing to the table, right?
Yeah, from beginning to end.
Was that from the start, or was that something that you initially took it to a processor, or he showed you right from the start? This is how we do it.
Yep, right from the start. We've only taken it to a processor a few times. I think we've taken an elk there. And then we took into a processor in Oswego, Kansas, a few times, but it was, it's, we feel like we get more meat, and we, I guess, bond more over it when we do it ourselves, because I mean, we harvest it there. We chop it up into chunks and process it on our kitchen table and make our own sausage and provide for our families, from beginning to end.
How do your kids like game meat?
Oh, they love it.
Do they?
They absolutely love it.
I was watching The Meat Eater the other day, and he was on a turkey hunt. He was on a turkey hunt. He was hunting turkeys. His friend was hunting bear in Montana, and then he talked about, I think it was deer liver they had for dinner, and he said his little girl was fighting him. She didn't want to eat it, and no. And his wife took a bite, and she goes, "You don't have to eat it." After she had the bite of that meat. So I think liver's probably. How about you? Do you eat all the organs or not? Yeah, liver, I'm not.
No, I can't. My husband likes heart, but I can't. I don't. Like I couldn't do it.
I had Margie Nelson. She's a wild game chef, and she's got me interested in a lot of meats that I didn't think I'd want to, and heart is one of them. She makes like tacos and fajitas and stuff out of it. And if you don't follow her, let me know, and I'll share her profile with you. Yeah, she's in some competition right now. She's in first place, right? That she can win like 50 grand. And yeah, I mean, I watch her post stuff, and I'm just like, especially because I fast on 2 days a week. And those days when always she seems to post the really good things. I'm like,
of course. So
how about you? Do you cook? Do you have like, are you a good cook? You like to cook all the recipes yourself?
Oh yeah. We do a lot here. I mean, especially when we have the kids, we have 3 teenage mouths to feed. We don't eat out a lot because they eat everything under the sun.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, I think, we use our wild game a lot, just because we fill our freezer every year. And again, as I alluded to, we have 3 teenage mouths, so they eat everything.
Who's the better cook, you or your husband?
Ooh, depends on the meal. It depends on the meal. Don't ask him.
What's your specialty?
I would say chicken enchiladas, but that has nothing to do with wild game. So
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I guess you could do turkey enchiladas, couldn't you?
Yeah, I guess I could. I could try that. We have some turkey in the freezer, so.
Are you guys gearing up for turkey? When's turkey starting for you?
Yeah, it's April. I actually will not be going to Kansas with him in April for our spring turkey. I have a friend of ours is getting married, so just so happens to be the weekend that he's planning to going to Kansas. I'm going on a bachelorette weekend, so I will
Vegas?
not be. No, Texas actually.
Where?
We're gonna go to Fort Worth, and well, I think we're just gonna stay in Fort Worth. She's gonna do the whole thing there, which is great because we don't have to wear a mask.
Fort Worth, is that where she lives?
No, her sister lives in Fort Worth.
Oh, I was like, it's an odd place to pick for
yeah. She's actually from Oklahoma, but her sister lives in Texas, so it was just easier for everybody to go there instead of everybody come out here. Plus, there's way more to do, and we can have way more fun, and it's warmer. It's we got 2 feet of snow right now.
Oh yeah, I like. Behind me is my garage door, and right now it's about 85 degrees outside. And I was gonna wear a tank top because I got a fan blowing on me. It's really hot. And
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm like I can't wait to be in the mountains so bad.
Yeah.
Soon. So
soon.
Do you guys call Colorado for turkeys also?
Yeah. We'll hunt usually in May, I think May, August. No, I don't remember, but yeah, we will hunt.
How are
Turkeys here too.
Miriam's? I've never hunted Miriam's. Are they? I had a biologist on here, and he said, or was it him? No, another hunter. He's a pro guy
Mhm.
for Woodhaven, but he said Miriam's are really vocal. Are they?
Yeah, I would say compared to, yeah, I would agree. I would agree. They seem to be a lot more vocal, you could say.
Is there a certain elevation that you guys usually hunt them at?
Um, just here at the same elevation as the springs, so whatever that is, I'm not exactly sure. We did hunt some up in the mountains a few years ago. I can't remember the year now because everything runs all together, but they were not vocal. We called them the Thompson Twins. There were two turkeys. They looked darn near exactly the same. And it was just two toms, and they were hunted pretty hard, you could say. We went out for them. I wish I remember the year. It was a few years ago, but we called a little bit, but they just weren't responding. So we shut up. We were sitting in the blind, and we finally got them to come to us. But they walked the same path. You know, they're creatures of habit, but they walked the same path. We knew they were going to come by. We just had to give them time. I bet we sat there for 2 or 3 hours, and I don't ask my husband, but he'll tell you that I'm a notorious napper, especially during turkey season. So I had fallen asleep, and no sooner did he hit my shoulder, I already had the shotgun up out the blind. So they had walked by behind this bush, and it seemed like forever for them to come out from behind this bush. And as soon as they took their first step, I pulled the trigger and got one of the Thompson twins. But they weren't vocal. They didn't. We couldn't get them to come in.
Was it public land?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. I'm a napper too, just so you're not alone. I'll sit there and I'll get out there early and I'll call for a while, and if I'm in my blind, I'll just kind of sit back in my chair and doze off, because there'll be times. The reels here are funny. The mornings, the best time I usually have is the afternoons, but I love the mornings. You know, everything's waking up, and I just like to hear the gobbles. And I don't really get much action in the mornings. So yeah, I'll just go out and call, eat breakfast, and I always end up taking a little nap. And sometimes it hurt. Like, I don't know about you, I don't know how you sleep, but I'll always like do where my head drops, and then my neck goes. When I wake up, my neck hurts so bad because my head was hanging.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy the naps too, especially during elk. How about elk? So you guys do a lot of elk. Do you hunt with bow too? Yeah. Elk, or just deer?
Yep. Just archery. We don't. We've been on a couple of rifle hunts for elk, but we do over the counter archery frequently.
Colorado. Whereabouts do you hunt in Colorado? Not like like in what area?
South of the Springs. So in the Sangres, I think. I know it's south of here, like 3 hours.
I've hunted. I used to hunt in Pagosa Springs. I used to drive up there and hunt, and that was my first time. First couple years I hunted Colorado, and then I called in both 2 years in a row. I was calling in guys, and I was just like, you notice that it's gotten really that too. Yeah. And do you call? You guys call?
Yeah. I just recently started doing that. My husband did most of the calling. But he, this past year, had knee and shoulder surgery at the same time. Don't ask. But he was all hobbled up, and I took our son out, and a friend of ours that had never archery hunted before. So I did a majority of the calling then. It was a weird, it wasn't anything like we had hunted before, at least the past 6 years. We had, oh gosh, I bet we had 14 inches of snow. It was a fall hunt. So it was just weird. We couldn't call anything in, and it was cold. They were there. I mean, there's plenty of tracks, but I think they just got hunted too hard. I would assume, at least.
Yeah, it's I was hunting in Utah, and that storm that you're is probably the one that I got stuck in. We got a really bizarre, really windy, and probably dumped about 10 inches of snow. And after that, I mean, it was just dead silent. And they're, like you said, they're there, but this year was weird between that and the dryness, and I couldn't believe how dry it was out there.
Yeah, it was the whole thing was weird. It was the weird year. All the way around.
And your kids, I saw, did they all hunt? I saw one of your sons got his first doe in Kansas, right?
Yeah. Our youngest got his first doe. He finally passed his hunter safety, and we finally took him out. He was super excited. He actually, I can't remember if I think he actually ended up getting 2 that trip, but yeah, he was super excited.
That's cool. So all your kids, they all hunt?
All of them. Yep.
That's great. Man, that is so cool. I mean, I remember growing up, I had all my friends hunted, all my boyfriends.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I still remember getting my hunter safety. I still remember my father taking me. It was a Sunday morning, and I was so excited too. But we couldn't hunt deer. We had to be 16 in New York. We couldn't hunt deer until we were 16. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. How old is that in Kansas? They're pretty young, right?
Yeah, he's 13. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I think as long as you have your hunter safety, you can. Heck, I think you can go as young as, I don't know. I don't want to quote it and be wrong. So let's just say 11.
Okay. Yeah. No, New York, and then you had to be accompanied by you're supposed to be accompanied by an adult. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That never happened, but I usually was mistaken for being older anyways. Until you're 18, like 16 to 17, you had to be accompanied by an adult, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And then New York is, I don't know how it is. I haven't been there in a while. I've been down here in Texas and Colorado and stuff. So, so what is your favorite? Because you guys hunt pronghorn too, right?
I don't. I think that they smell terrible.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been with my husband a few times. And it's fun. I mean, they're weird animals to hunt too. They're very skittish. But they just, I don't, there's just something about them. They just smell bad to me. So I don't partake.
What's the smell? What's the best way to describe their smell?
Oh, that's a great question. They just smell like musty. I guess I don't, even when you harvest them, like when you, not to get graphic, but when you're harvesting, gutting them out in the field, they just, that smell, I have to stand 100 yards away. It's just a terrible, musty, gross. I don't know. There's just something about them.
You got me thinking, because I remember my neighbors had goats growing up as a kid, and they had a kind of distinctive.
Yes.
Their hair was really greasy, and they had a distinctive must smell to them. It's something I want to try though. Once I get to Montana, I definitely want to try pronghorn. I want to try everything. Yeah. Because all I've hunted is deer and turkey. I've never hunted. Oh no, elk. I've hunted elk, but not like I can do. You got to plan like a week out of the year. I want to be around them all the time.
Oh, more power to you. Those things are just they smell so bad.
No, I don't mean like I don't want to live with them like with the grizzly bear guy where he lives.
Not in a cage.
I just want to be in proximity where I don't have to drive 20 hours to hunt them
okay, that makes sense.
And spend the first couple of days getting acclimated to the altitude and then getting used to where they are. And now people do it all the time. But yeah, what's your favorite weapon? Bow or gun?
I'd have to say bow. I like the challenge because it's not like, not to make it sound easy, but anybody
No, I agree
can
with you. I
harvest an
know
animal
exactly where
with
you're
a,
going.
yeah. It's just, and to be, and again, I didn't do anything with archery until I met my husband, and I was super terrified about the idea of being 40 yards away from a giant elk or even a deer. It just seems so, like, you have to be that
Yeah.
close. Like, I can remember asking those questions, like, you have to be how close? So the more I get into it, the more I think I enjoy it because it's way more challenging than, or at least for me, it's way more challenging
Up
than,
close and personal. No, totally. I agree with you.
yeah. And it's in the whole buck fever thing is real, especially with a bow. Now I don't, my husband will tell you differently, but I don't, I feel like I get the whole buck fever thing with a bow, but it's just, it's an incredible feeling to be, 40 yards away from a beautiful animal.
Yeah. Like real, yeah, where you can smell them. That's when you know you're really
Yes,
close. When you can,
yes.
when you smell that, like that musk, that rutting
Oh yeah.
smell, and you're like, yeah.
Oh yes.
Or when you're walking out in the woods and you're hunting elk or deer, and you know they're there because you can
Oh
smell,
yeah.
but you don't see them, and they're probably like right somewhere close, but they're so. Don't you find it amazing that such a giant animal can walk so quietly, where the only
it,
thing you'll hear is you
yeah.
hear a branch snap or something, and then there's a freaking, it's like, oh my god. Meanwhile, squirrel
It,
will
yeah, I
tear up the
know.
woods and make the
Those,
loudest noise.
that is so true. Those darn squirrels. Yeah, it's they're, for lack of better words, they're so majestic that they can move between those trees in the forest and not make a peep. It's incredible. And I honestly, I didn't believe the first time I went hunting for elk. I was like, there's no way those massive animals walk between these trees and not make a sound.
Yeah,
And
somehow
it's
they do it.
it's it's incredible.
I
Yeah.
think the Native Americans had a name for them, something ghost, like mountain ghost or something. I
Uh
know that I know there was something where they had a name that had something with a ghost attached to it for an elk, and I can't think of it. I remember reading it. I think it was in like the book Black Elk Speaks or something, and but
yeah.
they had a name for elk that, and it's true. I mean, I've
Mhm.
so many times I've heard a branch snap, and then also I'm like, I remember one coming, he bugled way below, but not
Mhm.
once did I hear him until all of a sudden I look and he's just peeking his head up. I'm like,
I
ooh.
know.
And that's the one I smelled. I still remember that smell. I was like, holy cow. He was
Oh
big,
yeah.
30, he was 36 yards. I just didn't feel comfortable with the shot.
Oh, okay. I get
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Cause
That
like you
makes
said,
sense.
with a bow, I mean, I'm the same with you, but and nothing against gun. I'm definitely gonna,
Right.
I want to try muzzle loading. I've never done that, but
Yep.
I've always looked at it. Any knucklehead can pull the trigger from it 300 yards. You still, your
Absolutely.
heart will be racing and stuff, but when they're right there and
Yeah.
you can smell them and you can see like certain movements on their body, and
Yep.
yeah, your heart gets pumping, and everything's around you is quiet. The drones, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and you get that little rush, and it's not like they're shooting at a 3D target. This is like this thing's
Right.
moving, and yeah.
No,
So
yeah. It's a pretty incredible feeling.
yeah. So what's your favorite animal to hunt?
My favorite animal to hunt? Um, I'd have to say either turkey or elk, and I would definitely lean towards turkey. I'm It's super cool to be, well, one, I love the spring, and two, it's just cool to be in the element. Like, you're not sitting in a blind, you're not a majority of the time you're not sitting, in a birdhouse or whatever looking for deer. You're sitting on the ground, or at least for us, where you're sitting on the ground, sometimes right underneath where they're roosted.
Roasted? Yeah.
So I think it's just it's and definitely a rush, I think, for turkey. So I'd
Oh,
have
I
to.
agree.
Yeah.
I was big. I was the same way, turkey, until I hunted elk. And then it was like, this is, they're similar, but they're not, because they're different animals, but
Yeah.
they are. But elk just have that mystique about them, and they're just so mysterious at times. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm excited. It's season starts here Saturday, and
Oh, good.
I got my new calls. I bought a new decoy, because I only hunt with a bow. So
Oh, really?
Hold on one second here. My dog just came running through and knocked my lights over.
Uh-oh.
They just got amped up over something they heard, and
I get it.
I've got
Understood.
two, but only three. Two of them are here, and yeah, the little guy, he's funny. He just gets so excited, and I got a female Rottweiler, and she's like, oh, and she's a puppy, so she just gets all excited. And they ran out, and they ran back in, and then half the lights over. So, but no worries.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Do you guys have dogs? Do you guys do any waterfowl hunting and stuff? Pheasant?
My first goose hunt was in February.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
It was fun. I'd never done it before. I just never. I didn't think it would be exciting, but it is pretty exciting to watch them. Come in. We weren't that successful. Not as successful as I anticipated, but they're so soft. I had no idea how soft.
Which one, Canadian or what, snow?
Yeah, Canadian.
I love.
Yeah.
I miss Canadian geese. It's so weird where they go to. I always remember in the spring, in the fall, when the flocks, as a little kid, you'd hear them going, and when winter's coming, and then when spring was coming, the flocks are coming. I never hunted them. I've always wanted to, but I think that's something I'd like to try too. And I hear the taste really good too.
Yeah, they're pretty good. We have quite a few. I mean, I think we got 7 this last time we hunted. But we wrap them in bacon and jalapeno, and I think cream cheese. I think my husband puts on them. They're actually super, super good. So I can't complain, I guess.
That sounds real good. Bacon with jalapeno.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And he smokes them on a smoker. I know.
Oh.
I know. Now I'm hungry.
I love. I got potato tails baking me up right now, and I love. I don't know what it is about food, and like I said, Margie's web. I just love looking at her pictures and people that can prepare food really well, and that's like.
Yeah.
How did you, when you guys cook it? Are these recipes, self-taught? I mean, because how people always say sometimes something tastes gamey, but then
yes,
find a way to, the cooks that I've interviewed just have somehow they just describe a better way to cook it, and it's still gonna have that gamey flavor, but they make it and present it so you don't know because it tastes so good.
Yeah. I'd have to say that I think that mule deer tastes way more gamey than a whitetail would. I also think that antelope tastes super gamey, which is probably why I don't enjoy hunting them. But for our steaks, we soak them in salt water before we cook them, and it seems to take out, at least for us, it seems to all day. So we'll take them right out frozen, and we'll, depending on what they're packaged in, we'll put them in salt water and let them soak all day and thaw out, and then put them on the grill. No game, none, 0. Yeah,
that's just shame. That's the first I've heard of that. How about bear? Do you hunt bear?
We don't. I don't hunt bear. My husband has before. I'm not a fan of bear. I just don't like the flavor of it. I know I'd have weird taste buds, I guess.
No. I've heard. I I never considered until recently I want to hunt a bear because I've heard it tastes. I hear mixed results. Like it depends on what it has to eat, and that makes a difference. Berries and as opposed to fish.
Yep, that's what
And
I've heard.
I hear the fat's really good to use to render up and use it in like pie crusts and stuff. So yeah, and that's. I mean, once I get more, I mean, I love hunting. I'm just not involved as much here in Texas because it's too expensive to hunt, and I don't feel like paying to hunt. And
I get
once
it.
I get, but I want to get more like you guys are involved with the whole from field to table type deal. Where you, like you said, so there's more connection, and it's yours.
Right, and I mean, we can take and we can do whatever we want with it. So we grind a lot of ours, and then we'll use the back straps for steaks, of course. But we grind darn near everything. I mean, like I said, we have a lot of mouths to feed, or at least I feel like we do. So we just grind everything.
You got a lot of mouth feed, but y'all pitch in with your hunting and stuff, which is a plus. How much do you think you get a year between everything?
Oh, for like just meat wise.
How much did you guys get an elk this year?
We did not get an elk this year. We did get some whitetail. I think we came home with 5, 6. I think we came home with 6. And we did everything. So because we have a grinder here at home, we just chopped everything up in Kansas and put it in a big cooler, froze it, and then brought it home. We literally did it in our garage, cut the fat off, discarded the fat, and then put it in giant buckets. And they brought it into me, and I would put it in a grinder and grind it all up.
You make sausage
and package
too?
it, and then oh yeah.
Do you?
No, we recently got into the sausage bit, and we got the sausage stuffer to put on our grinder, so it's pretty easy. But we finally started getting like the high temp cheese and seasoning and stuff, and made our own. It's some work, but it's definitely worth it. It's way good.
What kind of casing do you use? Do you use intestines, or what do you use?
Yeah. So we'll buy it. I think we buy ours from Bass Pro, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hang on. My husband's letting me know from the living room. Just kidding. Walton's meat. That's where we buy our casings and our high temp cheese from. Well, and the seasonings. Now I think about it. So yeah, we do. We use those.
High temp cheese. What's that? I've never heard of high temp cheese.
So it's cheese that you can put in the oven and it stays whole, I guess. So if you use like shredded cheese, we experimented with that, but it just melts it all. You really don't have that flavor with the cheese in it. So the high temp cheese stays in chunks when you stuff it in the casing.
So is it like Swiss cheese, or like Swiss and all those same cheeses, just a high temperature? Or?
Yeah, I think you can get that. We use I think we use a habanero jack for our yeah. So it's not really real hot, but it's really good. Yeah.
That does sound really good. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know. Let's talk more about food. Do you put the sausage on pizza? No, I'm kidding. I love pizza. Oh God, we could have a whole conversation just about the food you make with.
Yeah, we could. We definitely could.
Do you have I had one girl on, and she would take all her animals that she would make a big New Year's spread, invite all her friends, family stuff, and she would, each animal she killed, she made a dish from it, and she put the picture of the animal behind
no.
And so it had a story. Do you guys do anything like that?
Goodness, no. We could probably get away with that with our kids and probably a few of my family members, but Casey's side and definitely some of my side aren't avid hunters like we are. Like they'll eat it, but they just don't want to know the process of where it came from.
Okay,
so
I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you want to
that'd
get
be
it,
interesting.
yeah, because then they definitely say, "Oh, it tastes gamey," no matter what. If they saw the picture of the animals and stuff.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
So, speaking of that, since I don't want to sound like gender or sexist or anything, but as a
Oh.
woman, do you get more shit? Do you get like, because she was telling me she got death threats for some things when she would post
Oh.
pictures of animals that she had taken. Have you had any
You know,
situations like that?
there was one, and it was early on. I don't think that we've had any of those, not for several years. I feel like our followers are pretty cool followers. So it was way early on. We had all of that nonsense, but we just blocked them for lack of better words.
I think it depends on the animal too. The it like a wolf seems to. I remember listening to Corey Jacobson. He and Rainey Newberg were doing their podcast, and he had taken a wolf, and he said he couldn't believe how much like hate he was getting. And then that girl that I told you about had taken a polar bear. She shot a polar bear. She lives up Canada. She hunted the Arctic Circle, and that's where she got a lot of shit. So I think it's more because I always ask this question of all the people that come on here, and it seems to be that like some connection with certain animals, like deer. I think everyone's used to, but when it's a bear or a wolf or some kind of animal where it's more, but I think it's more animal dependent because
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would totally agree.
I've never gotten shit when I posted a thing about turkey. No one's ever.
Nope.
No, I did about a pig, wild pig once. This girl wanted to kill me. Oh my god!
About a wild pig?
Yeah, she just freaking let me have it. I was like, actually, I've had 2 people do that, and I'm just sitting here, and those are the ones that they just shut you out and they won't listen to.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wild pigs, you don't understand. They are like cockroaches down here,
Right.
And I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've shot some just to shoot them because they're just in my way, and there's 50 more to take that one's place.
I know. Well, they destroy a lot of things too. So
that too.
I think some people don't understand that part. Like we're not out just having a heyday. I mean, there's a reason. There's a method to our madness, I guess, for lack of a better word. So I think some people don't understand that piece. Which is frustrating.
I think they think Charlotte's Web and stuff. They were at one time.
Yeah. Yes.
I've heard that a domestic pig, if it gets out, can within weeks become feral. Just suddenly, they're so smart. And
really?
I've heard that they can literally change their whole behavior and everything within weeks. They're and they're not dumb. They're still smart, but they're just a more vicious. They really are. They're not nice at all when they're wild.
That's so strange. I had no idea.
Have you guys hunted wild pigs?
No, we've discussed it. My husband really, really wants to out of a helicopter. He's like dying. Yeah, he's dying to do it. But we've discussed it. We've just never followed through with it.
Yeah, I'm a helicopter pilot, and the flight school I went to, they did it occasionally. I was trying to get some guys that they got a pretty good following to come on, but they don't want to. I don't know if they didn't really give me a reason, but that's big down here. I love watching the videos. My buddy, one of my flight instructors, there's a video of him taking guys out, and he's just like doing all these maneuvers and hovering over, and all of a sudden the pigs take off, and it still doesn't have a dent on the number of pigs that are around here.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. Would you try that? Would you try helicopter?
I don't know. There's something about being in a helicopter. Well, I recently learned that I am afraid of heights. So, I shouldn't have, I guess, I should have expected that, I guess. But I don't know. There's something about being in a helicopter.
Have you ridden in one?
I don't know.
Have you
No, I've never been in one. No.
I'm gonna also tell you that I'm afraid of heights.
Oh,
And I've started out flying airplanes, and I wanted to learn how to fly helicopters. And something about, you don't think about it. Like
really?
it's because I have that floor underneath me. I don't know what it is. And I love also I'm looking down on the ground, especially when I'm flying a helicopter because I have to land it, so I have to pay more attention. Where an airplane, you just kind of get on an angle and bring it in at a certain airspeed. And you're also, it's not like you're free. They would have you attached, and I think you should. Personally, I think you should try.
Fall out.
No. It would be such a liability for them. I mean, you never hear, if they were losing people because they're making turns, banks, and their hunters are falling out. No, they're not going to let you fall out of the aircraft. Yeah, they have the doors off, but they got you safely harnessed so you can lean out. I mean, because they're leaning out, with their harnessed and plus you have the weapons you shoot because you can't have the casings flying up into the rotor, so a lot have to catch. But yeah, I think you'd be surprised at how you aren't. Or I'm just speaking for myself.
No,
it's weird because when I get up at tree stand stuff, climbing the tree stand, I'm scared to death, and then I'm up there and I'm like, but yet I can man an aircraft, and I have zero fear. So
I'm
I don't know if you
try
have
the
same experience, but I would.
I'll try it. I mean, I'm sure I would do it. I'm sure he could talk me into it, but might as well try it once, I guess.
You put that weapon in your hand. You got your headphones on, and you're talking to everyone. And next thing you know, you pick up off the ground, and you just kind of it's just something different about, like, it doesn't seem like you're. Again, I'm speaking for myself. It just doesn't seem like you're. Yeah, like it doesn't. It's just so, for me, it's weird. It doesn't. Where, like I said, I could be in a tree stand. I'm always kind of watching. And speaking of napping, I've fallen. Like sometimes I catch myself, and I never wear a harness, so I'm like, and then so yeah,
you have to fall out the tree.
I've always had that fear of falling head first too. And then I'd be, But it's weird. Helicopters and airplanes, zero fear.
I see. I'm not afraid of airplanes. I don't know. And probably because I've never been in one, and I've just seen stuff on TV. So, I would probably do it. He would probably talk me into it.
Plus, once you see those pigs or whatever else start running, you just start firing. You just will be completely in the zone and all that stuff, and you won't even know.
I'm sure it's an experience for sure.
Yeah. I would. I mean, I would highly recommend it, but you go with what you like. But I think you'd enjoy it. I really do.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because they're fun too. Pigs. There's so many. Like I've one time I was hunting, and they all came up, and I just drew my bow, and I ended up shooting two.
For real?
Yeah, I actually shot a little one. It's probably little. And it was the sow was huge. And they came in, and it was getting toward dusk, and I'd already shot one, and it took off, and I was starting to track it, and then I heard them coming, and so I got set up, and I had a light went to my back, and the sow stayed back, and all the rest of them came in. There was probably about 20 or so, and she was huge, and so I just drew my bow, and I shot, and it hit the little one, broke its back. And it was raised. I mean, I'm like almost to the point where I'm like, shut up. I mean, it was screaming so loud, and it was crawling, trying to get away. And I'm like, okay, this isn't going anywhere. So I had a lighted knock, so I saw my other one running, and then I saw the arrow, so I figured it dropped, and the arrow popped out. I got all the way over there, so I came walking back to get the little one. It was gone. So I'm thinking because it was screaming so loud, a coyote or a bobcat came in and snatched it.
Yep. I bet you're right.
Yeah, because I hear those are really good. I hear the little ones I've had wild pig, but I hear the tiny ones that taste awesome.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, I've never had wild pig either.
But I can't tell you because something took mine. So.
Yeah, we both don't know.
Yeah. So I'm told. I don't know. So Yeah. So what hunt you guys got planned this year besides deer, elk? What else?
So we'll probably do turkey. I mean, I'm not going in April, but I'm sure we'll do fall turkey here in Colorado. So we probably won't have much until the fall. Our daughter's going. Well, she graduates this year, and then we got to send her off to college in the summer. So we probably won't do a whole lot between now and probably September-ish. So
Is she
we'll do.
Is she staying in Colorado for school?
She is, yeah. She got a track scholarship at Western, so she's super excited. It's in Gunnison.
Gunnison. Okay, cool. Yep. That's a nice area too.
Sweet. Yeah, she's really excited.
I guess you guys will have to bring your bows and stuff just in case when you go out to see her.
I know. We're gonna have to pack it just in case.
Yeah. How about mountain lion? Have you hunted a mountain lion? You guys hunt mountain lion?
It's on my bucket list. Like, I really want to do it, and I know it sounds so terrifying and the whole 9 yards, but I think it would be a thrill. And I think that's probably when we'll get our haters on our Instagram. I kind of feel like mountain lions the same. Yeah.
Like, I can see that.
It's and I don't know. I can see why someone would say that, but at the same time, I think it would be so much fun and terrifying at the exact same time.
And I hear they taste really good.
That's what I've heard too.
And I never would have thought that, because usually predators aren't something you eat, but I hear they're a white meat, and I hear they're very like pork, almost like pork. Yeah,
that's what I've heard too. Yep. Yeah, and we would keep the meat for sure.
You gonna do that in Colorado?
Oh yeah. Well, at least, I don't know. That's what our plan is.
maybe you'll do it in Gunnison when you're going to see your daughter.
Oh yeah, maybe. I know. If opportunity strikes. No, I'm kidding.
All right, cool. Well, listen, Hope, thank you for coming on. Yeah. I appreciate it, and you know, get more love to women who hunt, and one cool thing I'm learning too is that you're all in, like, so many of you are involved, like not just in the hunt, but everything from field to table.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. It definitely gets you, I don't know. I think we bond just as a couple, well, as a family as a whole, I guess, just from doing it from beginning to end. And then the kids are super excited. At least they were when they were younger, like, oh, this is my deer, right? So it's super cool to get them all involved. And plus we're teaching them stuff that they'll carry on for the rest of their life. So
that they'll pass on
I think it's exactly to their kids and so on. So I think it's super important to keep everyone involved.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
All your social media stuff, give out whatever you want to get out.
Yeah.
Like Instagram,
our Instagram is at Hutch Has a Little Hope. And then we're on Facebook too, but we don't mess around with Facebook too much. So you can find us, follow us. We'd be happy to have you as a follower.
Yeah, they're definitely a happy family. You can tell by all their pictures. They're pretty involved. So cool. Yeah. Again, tell your husband said hi. Good luck this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me on.
Roger. Bye, Hope.
All right. Bye.